Hi guys, and welcome to a new video on Sonal's Life. Now it's only been a few weeks, but we have finished yet another tour in New Japan Pro Wrestling, and that is the Sakura Genesis 2021 tour. Now it's been a bit odd. Normally we have quite a big lead up to these big shows, but this time I think we only had about 3 or 4 Road 2 shows televised, and then we had the big event. So because of that, this video is probably going to be slightly shorter, as I'm only going to really focus on the big Sakura Genesis show we had yesterday. Now I'm going to, as always, look through all the big news from the show, the matches, and in particular I'm going to see what's going forward, because we've got the Dontaku tour next, and it's actually very big with a lot of big matches, so let's get going. So like I said earlier, it was a very short tour, and mainly the whole thing that happened was at the big Sakura Genesis show. We had 4 multi-man tag matches and then 2 title matches. Now, they had a really nice spread. We started off with a Suzuki-gun versus Bullet Club, so it was G.O.D. and Jado versus Dangerous Tekkers, so that's Taichi, and Zack Sabre Jr. versus Doki. Now that is leading up to this big IWGP Tag Championship match, and it was fine. Like, the funniest part of this entire match, if you watched it you'll know, is this obsession they all have with the iron finger. And it got to the point at the end of the match where Chairman Sugabayashi, literally like a mother, took this iron finger off them and went, nope, you're not having it, because we've seen what it does in the past. It drives Taichi crazy. Tama Tonga is obsessed with it. So yeah, that was really, really funny. I know there's been a lot of conversation, and it's the same with the junior tag titles that I'll talk about later. There are very few teams challenging at the moment, whether it's because of circumstances, people leaving. It's a big thing, but they do have very good matches together, so it'll be interesting to see. The second match, we had another, it was 10-man this time, and it was Chaos versus Bullet Club, with the idea of the Never 6-man titles and the King of Pro Wrestling title on the line. It was a good match. We had some of your great stars, so there was Okada, Ishii, then you had Ishimori and Kenta, and it's the ongoing storyline with Kenta, Yoshihashi and the Bow staff. Like I said, it was nothing special, but it's a nice build-up to see what's happening, and all the crowds got to see everybody that they love, even if they're not in those big matches. However, the first big major thing happened in the third match, and it was the members of Los Ingobernables de Japón, so Tetsuya Naito, Sanada and Shingo Takagi, versus the Empire, Jeff Cobb, the Great Okan, and X. And we all know in New Japan, whenever there is an X, that means a new member. We've seen it in the past, especially with LIJ. We've had Evil came out as X, Shingo came out as X. We've had it with other factions, so I think Ishimori was probably X before he was in Bullet Club. But this one, there was a lot of names being thrown around. So somebody said Shota Umino, which I'm glad it wasn't. Others thought it was Carl Frederick. Some thought it could have been someone from another company. So as Okan and Cobb made their way down to the ring and made this announcement, somebody came out. And I'm not going to lie, at first I was like, who is this? Like, is it from another company? I think the crowds are a bit confused too. But boom, it was Toa Hanare, or it's going to take some getting used to, Aaron Hanare. Now I think people weren't very surprised, because after his loss to Jay White in the New Japan Cup, there was something different about him. He had this sort of more downcast expression. He doubted himself a lot more than before. So this seemed like the perfect fit. He was this person who wanted to prove himself, like many of the members of the Empire. He came out with this new gear, this new name, and this new personality. And it was really amazing to see. Like, in the match, it was the same Hanare with the moves and things, but he just seems to have this new passion. And with that, he managed to probably get the biggest win of his career by pinning Sanada. And that's a huge thing, because in the past, Hanare's maybe picked up one win against somebody on the main roster. I think that was Yujiro. Apart from that, his wins have been against Young Lions, or he's taken the loss in tag matches. And as sad as I am to see the go-lucky Hanare gone, this is actually going to be great for his career, and I think it's what he has needed to push himself to the next level and to move away from that young lion status that, because he never went on an excursion, he's never managed to brush off. And in that match, we also had some nice interactions between Okan and Naito. Obviously, Okan beat Naito in the first round of the New Japan Cup, so that is not over with. And it's always nice to see Shingo and Jeff Cobb in a match together. Now, the next match had more title implications, and it was for the Never Openweight title. It was Satoshi Kojima and the most handsome man, Hiroshi Tanahashi, versus my boy Jay White and Bad Luck Fale. Now, in the Road to show, Tanahashi made it clear. He's like, Jay, you're not having my title. We're not going to do this. However, Tanahashi ended up accepting because after getting the win against Bad Luck Fale, Tanahashi put Jay in a Texas Cloverleaf and made him tap out. I say it like that because it wasn't in the actual match, it was after, so technically he didn't really tap out, if that makes sense. However, if you watch the post-match comments, which by the way are very cute because of Jay and Uemura being adorable together, Jay apparently said that this was exactly what he wanted. He knew that Tanahashi wouldn't let Jay have a shot at the title unless he had even the smallest inkling that he could beat Jay. And by tapping him out, he had this false sense of security and let Jay do it. And I think that just proves how good Jay White is, not only in the ring, but psychologically. He knew that Tanahashi would no way accept it. Jay has had Tanahashi's number for years. So the only way to do it was to sort of give Tanahashi that sense that, maybe I can beat Jay with my submission, which he called the JTO because of Jay's TTO. And it's going to be really exciting because when it comes to Jay and his feuds with the likes of Okada and Tanahashi, I think they are second to none. And then we got up to the two big title matches of the night. For me, the next match, even though it wasn't the main event, it was my main event because it was the return of Roppongi 3K going against Yoshinobu Kanemaru and El Desperado for the IWGP Junior Tag Titles. Now, normally I'd say something about, oh, it's a very small division, they need to sort themselves out. We'll leave that for now because Roppongi 3K are back. I was so happy, even with the new theme music and the new logo and the new ring gear, which I actually kind of really like. It just felt amazing to see Sho and Yo back in the ring together. And if you've got to remember, it has been 9 months since they have tagged together, but they have not missed a beat. I was watching this and my family were there and they were like, 15 minutes have passed. And I was like, it's literally felt like 5 minutes. And that shows how good the two teams are together. We had Yo, very cool, calm and collected despite it being his match back. Sho had that passion. But then, like we've always got to say, El Desperado as the junior champion is second to none. He is quick-witted, he is strong, he is fast. And then you've teamed him with Yoshinobu Kanemaru, who, I have said it, Gino Gambino said it on commentary, is probably one of the most underrated wrestlers in the entire company. It was an amazing match that blended 4 very different styles and personalities, but was dynamic, quick, and a real good showcase of what the junior division can do. In the end, Yo got the win over Desperado and Kanemaru to get the titles, and I was really emotional. Like, Yo started crying in the ring because this was his first match back and they got the titles, which is similar to when they came back from Excursion, had their first match and won the titles, but it just felt a bit different. And also we saw Yo point at Despi's title, so when I talk about what's coming up next you'll see that. But I don't want to tear away from how good Kanemaru and Despi are as a team, but as someone who has firmly been Team Roppongi 3K for years, since I started watching it, it made my heart swell, and I really hope that they get a long shot at the title because in the past they had pretty poor win-loss records when they had the titles. The one time when they actually managed to defend it, they had to relinquish it because of Yo's injury. So fingers crossed, and I'm just happy that Roppongi 3K are back together, and we hopefully will get Rocky back to get the full team. And then we had the main event. Now, there's been a lot of opinions about what happened in the match, and if you've not watched it and you don't want a spoiler, then why are you watching my video? Because it's full of spoilers. But basically it was Will Ospreay versus Kota Ibushi for the new IWGP World Heavyweight Championship, and Ospreay got that right after winning the New Japan Cup. It was a phenomenal match. Now, we've got to remember, both guys have experience now as heavyweights, but were also very prominent in the junior division. So it started off as like strikes, kicks, forearms going outside, like quite a strength base. But it very quickly went to a high-flying, very high-risk match. There was one point where Ospreay did a shooting star press onto Ibushi, who was draped onto the rope, the top rope. There was so much targeting of the neck that Ospreay did for Ibushi. Ibushi at one point hit Will's broken nose, and I was like, oh, that's a bit dangerous. But yeah, it went just over 30 minutes, but it was dynamic, it was fast, and personally, it was a mix between very good wrestling and psychology. And the good thing, I think, is that neither overwhelmed each other. Even with the presence of the Empire, they did not get involved, which is an amazing thing. And in the end, it took a Hidden Blade and a Stormbreaker, and Ospreay won. He is now not only the first person to legitimately win this IWGP World Heavyweight Championship, but he is the first British wrestler to ever win IWGP Heavyweight Gold. And I think that goes across all of the belts. I don't think any British wrestler has held the IWGP US, Intercontinental or Heavyweight title. And it's a big thing. And I know a lot of you have views on Ospreay, like it's a common thing. But you couldn't deny it was a very, very good match. And going forward, it'll be interesting to see how New Japan book this, because there has been a lot of upset fans, including myself, at the longevity or lack of Ibushi's reign, similar to what they did with Naito. So we'll see what's going forward with Ibushi and what's going forward with Ospreay. Okay, so what's next? We have the Don Taku tour coming up, and there are some huge matches planned for that. So we have the only second ever New Japan ladders match, and that is between Taichi and Tama Tonga. So there's no titles on the line, but it's very special because they don't happen often. You have the Never Six-Man titles between the Chaos Trio and a Bullet Club Trio. The Never Openweight title match between Jay White and Tanahashi. The Junior singles match between Yo and Desperado. And if anyone watched the ending of Sakura Genesis, you saw after Ospreay won, he basically called out Okada because they have unfinished business. He is still the one man Ospreay has not managed to beat. And he went, I challenge you for the title. Shingo then came out and went, don't I deserve it? So at Don Taku we will see Will Ospreay versus Shingo Takagi for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. Now I'm not going to really talk about these matches because I think I might do one nearer the time. But there is a lot going on. We are now in technically a new era of New Japan, and that all started at Sakura Genesis. So with all of that in mind, what did you think overall of Sakura Genesis? Like, let me know in the comments. What were your highlights? What do you think of Toa Hanara joining the Empire? Roppongi 3K's return? What about Will Ospreay winning the IWGP World Heavyweight title? Make sure to let me know in the comments, tweet me at wrestling_chat, and as always, make sure to like, share and subscribe. And yeah, it's going to be a jam-packed few months coming up. We've got some big Tokyo Dome shows, Don Taku, some special like one-off shows in New Japan. So yeah, I will see you guys next time. Bye!